So we all know the Earth is flat. So Lego this week have sent me propaganda, as I'm calling it.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I just know that flat Earthers are going to be out there. So I got this little Galileo set.
I like he had to clarify. He couldn't even just let it. He couldn't let it go.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Any little Earth moves.
oh.
Sorry about the green screen. But yeah, I brought.
To be clear, other people in Galileo's time knew the Earth wasn't flat. They just didn't believe in heliocentrism, right?
Yeah.
They just thought the Earth was the center of the solar system.
Yes. But yeah, according to flat Earthers, this will be propaganda that they're trying to do something terrible for children growing up.
You could still have a flat Earth orbiting a spherical sun. I don't see why you couldn't.
It'd be very unusual.
Very unusual. Like the Earth is the only thing that's different to all the other planets and stars.
It would raise more questions than it answered.
Yeah. Why is there even a question? I mean, that's still something that no one's been able to explain to me. Why there's still doubt?
Obloid spherical explains quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just
you
make kind of a mess.
Really.
Yeah, if you don't believe that, kind of things start falling over. So it's like
if you follow it, it is just uneducated people who think they're smart.
Yeah,
the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Or people who just. It's a lark, and they're just like, fuck it.
And they're just leaning into it.
No, you can tell those people. You can tell the people who are faking it.
Search Carl Sagan, nails, cardboard. He explains it very simply. You can't argue with logic.
Yeah, but he's just a government shill.
He's not.
I love that video of the woman spraying her hose on the front lawn, and she like puts her thumb over the edge, and it forms it like a spray, and then there's like a rainbow. And she goes, "What are they putting in the water?"
Yeah.
Oh god! Like
my 2-year-old daughter
serious.
has worked out how to create a rainbow using the hose, and she.
Yeah.
But no, I actually brought that. Water? This wasn't the set I actually brought. I actually brought the Atari 2600, and that was a bonus they gave me. So I started building.
They gave you the Galileo. That Galileo is getting a lot of press at the moment. Actually,
it was like if you spent over like $150, you got that set for free. And it's
Galileo's time to shine. He took it all back?
Did he touch somebody inappropriately? Is that what it is?
I don't think he did. He had his little assistant living with him up in his tower, but the Inquisition were like, the thing that you've been saying. If you keep saying it, we're going to put you in prison. So I'm going to ask you again: is the Earth the center of the universe? He's like,
yes, it is.
It absolutely is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is, yeah.
I don't care, mate. Fine, whatever. I'm writing it down. There you go. Take it or leave it.
So scary.
Just don't burn me. Don't burn me.
So
Luke,
I've been sick.
How are
you?
How are you?
Dan somehow infected me from Sydney.
Yeah.
So I think listeners, just be careful because it seems like possibly COVID can be transmitted through this show now.
At least through a video call. Yeah.
Because you got over it. I woke up on Monday. I took a rat test in the morning and it came up negative. I've gone, no, I remember from last time. I gave it another half an hour, did it again, and came up positive. So I've gone, I think I knew as soon as it happened. For the first 3-4 days, could not get out of bed.
Yeah.
Was just
it sucks.
Completely wrecked. I was trying to, and so I ended up watching a lot of crap YouTube. I watched a lot of wrestling stuff for some reason.
I watched so much crap YouTube when I had it.
I thought you were going to say you also watch wrestling, and I was like, "What?
No.
We're into wrestling now? What?
No, just crap.
Oh, you didn't have that symptom?
Yeah, that's the main symptom of COVID. It just makes you get really into the WWE.
Hannah tested fine for 3 days.
Variant.
She finally tested positive yesterday or 2 days ago. She is completely fine. Got a bit of a cough.
She is incredibly fit, though. And
yes.
I would imagine her immune system is far superior to ours.
I'm happy that she's not as sick as I am and not sort of dying in bed. But I'm also
in many various ways.
Yeah.
Really?
Mind you, being healthy is kind of her brand. If she got really sick, I don't reckon she'd tell you.
No,
It's
I
like
can tell.
it's like Trump, where he's like, nah, it was fine.
Do you
No,
call
I
in
could
sick
actually-
from work and from home and just go somewhere else to be sick in privacy and then come back?
Yeah,
Well, the reason
mate,
why
I
it
would
never
have
happened.
loved to have done that.
Look, I'll tell you what. The next
Yeah.
time I get this, I'm getting the antivirals. I don't care that they
Don't
cost
say next time.
$1,200.
Whoa! I didn't realize there was even an expensive thing, but of course there is.
Oh, there is. You
That
can,
the-
if you're in a risky thing like over 50 or like diabetic or something, you can get it quite cheap. But if you want
okay.
it without, you're paying a lot of money.
I reckon you've probably got enough things to tick
I
at least one
tried.
of their
Yeah.
boxes. Oh,
I
did you?
tried. They went no.
No good.
But like 4 days in bed. Next time, I'm gonna make Hannah fork out the money.
To be clear, listeners, it's his money. It's just that she manages it.
Because I spend all
he's
my
not allowed
money
to have it.
on
Yeah.
like the Atari Lego set.
Case in point,
Mm.
I was going to say, yeah, the Lego.
So you built the Galileo, but did you build the Atari?
I've only built like just started. I've got like one cartridge here.
Oh, very nice. Is this the one where you can lift up the hood and there's an 80s bedroom inside?
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
I like that. I like that very much. Not
Yeah.
not only is it the console we had as the 80s,
Mhm.
our bedrooms from the 80s are inside it.
Because until you said that, actually, an Atari 2600 is not particularly complicated.
No.
Like it's a black box.
Yes.
So
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
little wooden trim around
There
around the
is.
front.
yeah,
And I still
okay,
have
so
that
some
version.
slightly different coloured
Oh,
blocks.
I'd
at
love
the
that.
edge.
I almost
and I've got
bought
one. Oh, it's over there now.
I almost bought a
Yeah.
re-release of it just to sit on the shelf, and
I
I've
am
got
thinking
enough
about getting a
paperweights.
re-release to actually
Mm.
have a bit of a play with. Because it's not, as we spoke about last week, it's not that expensive and it will play the old games that I've got.
Yeah, I mean, if you've
Yeah.
got the money, you might as well.
I am going to say one thing though. I'm a bit upset about the games that it comes with.
Oh,
So-
really?
It doesn't come with Pitfall, which for me is
Huh.
the Atari game.
Okay.
It must be
Sure.
licensing because that was very popular.
Because I've got like
Mm.
Adventure, Centipede,
does it
and
come?
Asteroids.
Okay.
It just comes with ET.
Okay.
That's all it comes with.
Yeah. They have to do something with those cartridges.
I like how they-
fucking take one. There
like
might
how
be
they-
some
I've
dirt
got
on
2
it.
copies of it over there. I've
Do
like
you?
I like how they
Yeah.
blame ET for being the downfall of it, but it was already on its way out. Like everyone was
Yeah.
sort of over it a bit by then. ET was just sort of the last thing.
I still remember the first moment I heard about the Atari. Was in kindergarten, and we did like show and tell, but you don't have it there. I think they just call it news, right? So some kid was doing news.
just tell.
And he was, just tell. And he was just telling us about the Atari. And like I was sitting there with Andrew Roy, Matt, whom you know.
Oh
right?
yeah, I do.
And we were just like, we'd never heard of it before. And he described it. We were like, what the fuck's an Atari?
and
he
here's
told us
the
what
funny
it was.
thing: like
And
we
we-
found about it quite young, but it had been out for most before we were born. But it wasn't
Yeah.
something we knew about.
No, it's either they were too expensive for our parents to have even contemplated getting, or we were just too
Yes.
young, because this was when we were like 5 or 6 when I
Yeah.
found out about it. But like then I went to that kid and I'm like, you've got to show me this fucking thing. Like you've got to let me come to your house and see it. And he did, and I was like, okay, well the rest of my life I'm going to be playing with this.
The earliest game thing, like video game thing that I can recall is a friend of mine who lived up the road from me had one of those ones where it was like basically it was just Pong with the 2 things, but you could like flick a switch and then it was tennis now, and then it was like it's hockey, but it's like literally the same thing, but they would change slightly. But you flicked a switch and you just had 2 little paddles, and then as we got I remember hearing about this. Oh, there are ones out there where you can take the game out and put a whole new game in, and it's got fucking Star Wars on it. And stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's
the
not real.
magical land is this.
What I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
try and find is I've got an older television somewhere around.
Oh, the Intellivision. Is that the one where you had the actual skins that you swapped out on the console,
Yes.
on the controller each time, so that it said
So
where the fire
you
button
knew what
was,
buttons
and
were. Yes,
that was a great idea.
it was back then. When
We have
now.
Jenna's ColecoVision downstairs, which is like a copycat Atari 2600 that plays
Right.
2600 games plus also ColecoVision games.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
never. I don't think know if we had them in Australia. I've never seen one before.
Never
We
heard
have
of
it
it
here.
before,
I
but
don't
that's
think we
pretty
did.
cool. Wonder if it was legal.
It's one of those things I'm scared to plug it in because it'll probably catch on fire, and
Yeah.
it's like
yeah,
a memento
yeah.
of hers. So
Yeah.
But then also,
get
like,
a new power supply for it and check the capacity.
yes,
yeah, you'd probably want to get it sort of refurbished first. But also, what would you plug it into?
exactly.
Oh, she's got her original one. She's still got it.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, that's great.
It's in our basement. Her Nintendo entertainment system's down there too. Like
NES.
her original one. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think I've still got my Sega Mega Drive. I've got 2 of them around here somewhere, and I think I've also got my Master System 2 as well somewhere.
Do you have the Master System too?
don't have
With
Wow.
Alex Kidd,
You have
With
some
Alex
of my
Kidd,
stuff.
yeah.
Actually, Luke's got more of my old game stuff than I do.
Yeah.
Atari Lynxes.
Oh, you got the Atari
Yeah.
Lynx, do you?
Yep.
Interesting.
He's got
Alex
2
Kidd-
Atari Lynxes that I gave
Yeah,
him.
I can give you one because I've got 3.
Oh, how nice of you. Give him
I
his
won't say
own
no to
Atari
that.
back.
I bet to you, Dad. I've given
I
you back
Oh,
to back.
say
thank you.
no.
I'd love a
Oh,
Lynx.
what?
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
I mean, if you're playing it inside in the dark and you're looking dead on at the screen, it looks excellent.
The Atari Lynx was fucking excellent.
It was
Yeah.
better
And
than
if
the
you
Game
had
Boy.
if you had the upper body strength to hold on to it, you know.
And the batteries.
Yeah.
But I think I
yeah,
did
and you
like-
only wanted to play it for 20
the
minutes.
one thing that was quite good about it is if you're right or left-handed, it was fine. You could just switch it around, and it
Yeah, you
catered
flip it
for
upside
that.
down.
True,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Do you have my original one
Yes.
with all the paint worn off?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say we should show the listeners that at some point.
Yeah, dig it
This is
out.
how much
for sure.
this is how much I played that fucking thing. Like
Mm.
literally, it's worn through to the plastic is like white, where my
Yeah.
hands wore through the paint.
Part of my dick's clear for the same reason.
Oh, he's gone to get it.
Yeah.
Shit, we gotta fill the time.
Oh, what can we not talk about when Luke's around?
Speaking of handhelds, because I'm sure Luke will have something to say, but he's
Mm.
here he is.
He's coming back. Oh, it was very handy. Oh, he's making its way. He's really dragging this out for effect.
I had the
And
wall.
there's some ASMR.
it's and it's in my old case too.
Yeah.
God.
You can hear it. Matt knows the sound of the
Memories.
zipper on that case.
There you go. Look at that.
Look
It
at
is.
that.
And then
Wow.
Worn down, mate. I
On
played
one
that
s-
thing
one side, really
Non-stop.
one side worse than the other. But yeah,
Yeah.
because
Because one
'cause-
hand stays where it is and the other hand moves between the buttons.
yeah, I played that thing non-stop when I was a
Do you
kid.
have Batman Returns on it? That was a good Lynx game.
Not Batman Returns. I had Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Actually, I used to play a lot.
yes.
I had
I had the Amiga
Stun
version
Run-
of that.
Oh,
but I
hang on.
didn't have a
Luke could tell you
console
what I had
version.
because the games
Yeah,
were in there.
they're in there, right?
What I've got here at the moment, because they've moved around a little bit and there are other things. I've got Stun Runner,
Yeah, Blue Lightning should be in there.
Viking Child,
Viking Child. Yeah.
Oh,
Ishido. I don't know what that one
think
is.
that's
martial
one.
arts game.
Yep, and that's all I've got in this one. I've moved stuff around to other.
All right.
I haven't sold anything.
Other
I
Atari
kept
links.
everything.
It's yours, mate.
I keep
all yours.
everything.
Mm. I don't have any of my old consoles or anything.
Mm.
I was always a futurist. I was always like, the next one's
Yeah.
going to be better. Sell this,
Oh,
fucking
Blue
sell
Lightning.
this, get the new one.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
hoarder.
I sold a lot of stuff because also a lot of the stuff in Australia is PAL, and I knew that if I
Mm.
brought it here, it would first of all you have to find an old TV to play them on anyway,
Yeah,
and I'd have to find an
Mhm.
old PAL TV. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
no.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I sold a lot of it before we moved.
You can
But-
get dongles that you can jack into monitors that aren't.
Well, now I know all that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've got one here for this Commodore 64. So this is PAL actually. Now
You
that
got an
mention it.
English Commodore 64 and American Commodore 64.
This is you know what?
Show and tell week. Sorry for the audio listeners.
Mm.
Oh, so
That's
pretty.
nice.
It's the
64C.
Australian case format.
Yeah.
This one was made in Germany. I know that
yeah.
from the bottom.
Yeah.
But this is the 64C,
Mm.
which is kind of the Australian. Or I might be. Actually, no, because I think in England they still have the bread box most of the time.
Mm.
Even
Mm.
anyway, that's what that is. I have 2 bread boxes over there too.
Nice. Yeah, I keep looking at them.
Could love
I just can't
Commodore 64.
justify them.
See, it's one of the things I'd like to buy, but I know I'll never use. It's like
That's why it's here shaming me.
yeah.
So I use it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So it has its own monitor, or is it hooked into your flat?
it's hooked into the same thing. So currently I'm using my DSL. Oh, sorry, not DSLR. What do you call it? APS-C camera to do this through the HDMI capture that I plug into this when I want to play this.
Got it.
So I just when I'm finished this, I'll swap it back, and then it's good to go.
Check out one into the other.
But it's right there in front of you, so it's always there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, look, speaking of handhelds, Luke, do you have a Steam Deck?
I don't have a Steam Deck. I've got an AO Neo thing, so it's essentially a Steam Deck. It's just a computer.
It's if you wanted to pay 4 times the price of a Steam Deck, you got the AO Neos next.
I mean, it's got Windows on it, and it's
I run Windows 11 on it, and it runs everything. Because and I don't have
Steam Deck's got like a Linux.
Yeah, and you'd have to sort of install Windows on it. This just comes with it, so it's just easier.
I would
to get.
For sure consider a Steam Deck if they were more prevalent here.
Well, they've just announced the Steam Deck OLED comes out later this month, and I mean they're pretty affordable here. I mean, as far as consoles go.
Yeah, they're still not even available here in Australia.
No,
like you can get one for $400, brand new. Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry, not the OLED one. The OLED one starts at $550, which is
ridiculous.
Slightly more than an Xbox, but still, that's pretty good.
My ANE was $2,100
for what this is.
Jeez. You essentially bought a handheld PC.
I did, and it runs everything though.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what I mean. It literally is a PC, and it's. I mean, I assume more powerful than a Steam Deck too. Steam Deck is fairly like specialized. It runs a Linux operating system that's optimized for games. Whereas yours,
you can't put Windows on a Steam Deck, right?
Yeah, you could do word processing on yours, presumably.
I can. I've edited podcast on it. I'm going to record
that's what you pay an extra
$1,500
for is to
But no, that's like when I travel now, and if I'm traveling and we're going to record, that's what I'm going to use to record on, and
right.
Got to be useful instead of lugging around a huge laptop. And
that's fair. Yeah.
So I actually like it. Like the Steam Deck, you can install Windows on it, but you have to like mess around. Yeah, because it's designed for Steam, but you can get Game Pass running on it and stuff.
Look, I'm at the point now. Can you get Game Pass on it? Fuck me. See, I'm at I'm at the point now where I will play my Switch over the Xbox 9 times out of 10. Just because it's so easy. I can sit in any room of my house. I can just pick it up and put it back down. I don't have to commandeer the television off of my daughter. And this could be the catch-all handheld we've always dreamed about, really.
The GeForce Now runs on the Steam Deck. That's really compelling. But, I mean, you can run Baldur's Gate 3 on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So, but that's
through Steam or through
just through Steam.
Is it available on Steam?
Yeah, that's
okay. So I can go to Amazon right now. I can go to amazon.com.au right now and buy the Steam Deck 7-inch, obviously not the OLED one, $800.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have $800. I could suck off a few sailors down at the docks.
It's hard to justify.
Just 800.
Because
you think I charge $1?
I don't think you charge that. I think that's what you'll get.
Fair enough. Right. Sailors are like, mate, I've got $1. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. They don't get the same mates rates you do.
I'm like, mate, if you can blow in the next 30 seconds, then maybe that's worth $1.
How much do you want this Steam Deck?
Quite a lot, actually, but 800 sailors. It's a lot of sailors.
But see, I also have a Switch and the Xbox, so it's kind of hard to justify. And obviously, I play Baldur's Gate on my Mac through GeForce Now. Yeah, so it's kind of nice. Hard to justify. Like, also, I don't leave the house, so
yeah.
Look, it's taken me a year to actually start finally using my handheld. I brought it and I used it once or twice. It was great, but then I take it to work every day, but never use it. But now I actually make a note. I go to lunch. I take my hour for lunch now, and I play it for an hour at lunch.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm actually getting into it a bit more.
Oh no, Dan's gonna
$800. No, don't worry. I literally don't have the money, so it's fine. It's fine. I'd have to sell my Xbox and my Switch to afford this.
But the thing about it is, like,
but
it works Steam perfectly. To get Game Pass and anything else, you're going to have to mess around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just out of the box. It's going to work.
But a lot is available on Steam because I pretty much exclusively only use Steam on my PC for indies and retro stuff because that's all my PC will run. Anything new and AAA, I go to the Xbox, right?
So,
but I could just start.
Doesn't
getting
run everything. So you have to check. Like it has limited compatibility because, like I said, it runs on Linux. So you have to kind of check what games work on it and what don't. Like some just won't.
Yeah.
Like I know Baldur's Gate does. I know Dune Spice Wars does not, for example. That's because I've looked into that before.
I'm just looking at the Steam Deck now. So they've got the 1 terabyte OLED, and one of the things that they say if you get like the 1 terabyte over to 512 gig, one of the things that's going to be exclusive about it is you get an exclusive startup movie.
Oh, well,
it's not on the 512 gig one. That makes the price Johnson.
It's because it's the 500 gig video, and it doesn't fit on the other one.
$40 gets you a nice little docking station where you can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I gotta close this. I'll close it.
No, I mean, look, it looks nice. I mean, and the OLED one obviously it looks very nice, but
look, I'm still happy with the one I got.
I got the OLED Switch.
Yeah, see, I don't have the OLED Switch.
It's lovely
because that's got a bigger screen than the normal one too.
Certainly does. And you know what I did? I bought because my only criticism with the Switch is I find the control. What do they call them? The
Joy-Cons.
Whatever they're called. They're slightly too small.
Yeah,
so they're quite
for children.
Small. Yeah, so I bought this big old Chinese made Xbox adjacent thing. Except it makes it feel like I'm playing a big shitty piece of plastic instead of this finely tuned piece of machinery. So I use it. I don't use it because it's just it's so much nice. It doesn't fit in the dock anymore. Like it's just aesthetically so much more pleasing, just on its own.
Look, I did find when
you get a cramp from.
I did. Yeah, I brought my Switch like the day it came out, and I remember playing it, and I did find that after a while, the controls are too small. Like even when playing it in the holder it comes with, that my hands were getting cramped because it is just that little bit too small for my hands.
Yeah. While we're just quickly talking about games and Switch games in particular, I'll just quickly mention something. I played Blair Witch recently, as in I finished it. I assume you've played this, Luke, because you play everything, right?
I played the start of it. I didn't get very far into it. I got distracted.
So I started playing this on Xbox when it was on Game Pass. It is very spooky.
And I'm not very good with spooky games.
Spooky, yeah. You're alone in the woods. Shit's happening, and you don't know whether you can trust your own eyes and your own brain.
Rustin Parr in it.
Who's fucking
Rustin Parr? Isn't that the name of the
the serial killer?
The pedo guy from the Blair Witch movie.
Sort of, yes, if you could interpret it that way, maybe. It doesn't really...
Sorry, I don't want to besmirch a fictional character. I can't remember who actually was a pedo. I just made that up when I was...
Alleged.
I actually can't remember if they name him in this, but there's definitely a child abductor in this, for sure.
Okay.
You encounter many, many lost children. This is a very good game. I started playing this on Xbox ages ago when it was on Game Pass, and then it left Game Pass before I finished it, so I didn't get to finish it. And then I noticed that it was on sale on Switch, and I'd really liked it, so I picked it up for like $30-$40. I was ready for the first 60% of this game to come in here and say, guys, you got to play this. This is such a good game. And then it really, really lost me in the end. Like it just became extremely on rails. Like not even... With nothing to do, it was a walking simulator for the last 40%, basically. Just walk from point A to point B and watch cutscenes. And it was very tedious and I was quite bored. But the first part of the game, where there's lots of exploration and it's not open world, you're still on rails. It just makes you feel like you're exploring, you know.
Sure.
But very, very atmospheric. But it kind of did fall apart at part of the end.
That's a shame.
But still worth a play.
Okay. I might give it a go. I think I did buy it at some stage as well.
I had a terrible ending too, and I went online. I was like, "What the fuck did I do wrong?" Because I thought I was doing everything the game wanted me to do. And to get the good ending, you have to know in advance to ignore a lot of the stuff the game asks you to do. It's kind of it reminds. Yeah, it is and it isn't. I think that the point is that you'll die a horrible death, right? You know,
but for good endings, you shouldn't have to ignore everything. You should be rewarded for trying to experience everything, not.
It's kind of like, you know, in BioShock, the would you kindly kind of, it's the same kind of twist, right? So it's like, but except you can ignore it. I mean, you can't in BioShock, but it'd be like in BioShock if you played it through knowing that you could just not do anything that guy says.
Yeah, right. God, the first time I played that reveal was fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great game.
When I first met my wife,
a slave obeys.
Yeah, is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? I met Hui while I was playing the second one, and she was like, because she's not a gamer, and she's like, "Oh, so what are you doing this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a sequel to this game, but in the first one, you played as a man. This time, you get to play as a little girl." And she's like, "Oh, do you? Oh, wow. How exciting for you."
It's a bit of wish fulfillment, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of horror games, there's a news article in here. There was some... So they're making a Silent Hill 2 remake. And some news came out this week that has kind of...
Or is it?
Confused and concerned people, including me,
Mm-hmm.
because they said that a villain, they're going to have a special origin story for I think they said for a villain, and people have were theorizing, it's going to be Pyramid Head. They're going to do a origin story.
He comes out of your brain,
and I was like, sorry, yeah, right, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
so, unless you don't understand the game, or I misunderstood the game.
No,
and it was just so well crafted that it didn't matter that I got it wrong.
I fucking hate this shit, hey. Yeah.
So
it's like all the new, like Freddy's got to be abused as a child, and the fucking guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre he was a goodie that turned bad. Yeah. So you got to do all this now. You can't just have someone who's evil.
So here's a line.
Literal incarnate evil from your own fears come to life.
Fan favorite character, Pyramid Head, makes a return. John Pyramid Head makes a return along with a special origin story for fans to play through.
Unless that doesn't mean Pyramid Head's origin story.
Yeah. It could just be
not.
like, hey, he's back, and then, hey, here's another story that's happening that's not. It could just be bad wording.
Silent Hill 2, the whole thing that makes Silent Hill 2 great for me is that you never really know, was it real, or was he just like fucked up because he killed his wife when she was terminally ill.
30-year-old game.
Yeah. But and like, so he imagined this version of his wife who was fine and like went to this town with her, and then Pyramid Head, I understood to represent his kind of masculinity, like that he kind of suppressed when his wife was sick because he wasn't getting any, and so Pyramid Head goes around just fucking everybody and killing things and being a big tough man with a big giant sword. Like
that's actually his LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, and I feel like the movie missed that.
Oh yeah, the movie completely missed that. Yeah, they were just like,
and in
this town there lives a guy called Pyramid Head, and he's a cunt.
Yeah, and he stabs you with his big sword, his big phallic sword, for no reason.
Yeah,
and so like if this has if it's an origin story for him, the game is his origin story. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Could it just look? Let's hope maybe it's just an origin story about you killing your wife.
I mean, that's in the game too.
No, but just about how she gets sick to begin with, and
Luke
her
wants
going
to actually
work.
physically. He wants to press X to smother her harder, and
the final boss of the game is her floating around in a hospital bed with tentacles coming out of her because you finally remember what happened, and James is like,
but that's what you remember. Right. This is you did it.
been so long since
Luke wants to
Steve,
literally murder his wife, Matt.
I tried to replay this.
She didn't get sick enough.
Wife murder simulator.
The controls are pretty clunky. It's kind of a tough play. And
look, all I really want from this game is make it pretty and make the controls play better, and that I'm happy.
Yeah, just
don't change
controls.
anything else.
Mind you, the way that
the story in any way.
Yeah, because like even with like Resident Evil 2, like
yes, I knew you were going to say that.
It was great. They remade the game, but it was the same game, but they just made it playable. Like if you were to go back and play the original Resident Evil 2 with the controls that I had back then today, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, if you want to do that, go and play the remaster of Resident Evil 1, which is exactly what you've just described. It's pretty, but you've got to still play, and they've got a version that they call modern controls, but it isn't.
It's still not.
Yeah, if you're pressing forward, because it still cuts between multi-camera, so you will go forward between two screens, but then you'll go, wait, what direction do I need to press now?
Silent Hill's like that too.
Yeah. So just
there was that PS1 era where you had one stick to move your body in a direction, and then forward was always whatever way you were facing.
Yeah.
There are literally shots in that little short film Gary that we shot many minutes ago that I directed. That I just stole whole cloth from Silent Hill 2.
Right.
But yes, it's like that because you're moving, and as long as you just keep holding one direction, it's fine. But the camera moves and changes positions. There's a shot where like you're running this way, and then you run underneath the camera, and the camera kind of spins around and follows, right? Which is a shot that I stole. But if you stop and then try to go again, it throws you in the direction. That like it's like.
And Matt, I'm going to change it. You didn't steal it. You're inspired by it.
Yeah, it's a pastiche. Yeah.
Heavily inspired by it.
Heavily pastiched. But that...
To the point where I removed all the plot from that film too. So that it was also mostly metaphorical.
We're good at that.
Man gets attacked by zombies who may or may not be in his own head. I mean, I'll watch any movie where that's the premise. So...
Yeah. Stripped it right back.
The angles, the kind of fixed camera-ness of the first Resident Evil made it so fucking awesome because it looked like also the way that movies were shot during that time.
Yes.
Like
horror movies in the 90s
great.
were shot with ridiculous camera angles. Like people were trying to, everything was wide angle, back behind someone and their foot's in frame, and then you can see a zombie coming at him from the background. Like, and that's how this game was, because the Japanese were watching American horror movies going, let's do that.
But at the time, that was a great way to play the
Sam
game.
Raimi does.
Today, we can't do it. But it doesn't work for me. I can't. My brain doesn't let me do it. Actually, I need to go play Resident Evil 2 because I only played the opening, went, this is amazing, then stopped.
The problem with Resident Evil 2 is that sequence when you're in the police station for like days of gameplay, right? Then you get out and you swap characters. And I find that very jolting. Like, it's like, no, I'm this guy and I've just escaped and I've just met this new person and now I've switched to her. Like, I don't know. I hate switching characters in games.
When it came out, there was a reviewer. One of the reviewers accidentally played the game twice. So they knew they were meant to switch characters, but they played the first character, went through, and then their review was, but then I did the same thing again. They didn't switch characters to play the other side of the story. They just played the same story twice and were confused by it. And how do you make that mistake?
I got another example of that where it worked out all right, but I got worried was in Pentiment when well into the game, suddenly you're playing as somebody else. And I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And I was like,
true. Yeah.
Luckily it didn't take long to become compelling again. But there was a period there where I was like, you might have lost me.
Yeah, it's an odd choice because it really does throw me. And that did work in Pentiment because, without spoiling, something happened to that guy, right? So
yeah. But it's pretty jarring when
but they do. I mean, LA Noire does that
character.
too, which I'm playing through now and loving. But I'm aware that eventually he just goes away and you play someone else. But even the newer Resident Evils do that too. The number 7 did that. Just in the end, you're like you
oh yeah, you play as
go
Redfield.
off on the boat and then just bam with swaps now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
No, 7,
I'm
not
thinking
8.
of Village. Village, you play. Village does it too.
Yeah.
So, spoilers.
It's kind of their thing.
It's a risk, and if you do it well, it will work.
Mm.
That could also be.
I'd still prefer without it. All the examples you've just given, I would have preferred to just play through as one character.
But you didn't.
You know, in Resident Evil Village, you are the character from 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was neat.
Yeah, that was excellent.
You went back to your normal life, and then
except that you're looking for your daughter, and I just had a baby daughter when I was playing it, and I'm like, it's too real.
Same, man. Yeah.
Too close to home.
It's just makes it fucking visceral.
And that guy's like, "Oh, don't worry, there's bits of food in this cube."
Yeah, and I'm like, fucking come outside.
What is going on? What is going on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a great game.
It really is. Yeah, fucking. They really refound their footing, didn't they? The Resident Evil franchise.
Totally. Yeah.
For something that started so well and then became something I just didn't give a shit about for a decade.
1, 2, great. 3, 4, great. And then 5 and 6 were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know people, like, there's kids online that like are younger than us that say 6 is the best game they've ever played. Like 6 is like...
Really?
Is it 6 like the co-op-y one? And
yeah, but that's why they like it. It's like it's like Call of Duty with zombies, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I don't know why co-op's the way to go. They did it with Dead Space as well. Like, I loved the first
Dead Space 3.
and then Dead Space 3. It's now co-op. Well, that really takes away from that sort of horror element when I'm just laughing with my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's if I had friends that I played with, that's what would have happened. But we don't play games together.
No.
That's right. We've got some follow-up this week. Points of follow-up.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one's quite big news in the world of film. It was Strike's over.
Okay, because the last I heard was the studios came out, this is our final offer, and a few people come out and go, we'll be the judge of that. And that's the last I heard of it. So they actually...
No.
Yeah.
It was the final offer?
It's official now. Yeah, they went with it. Everyone's very excited now that they can start going to the premieres of the movies they made already. Which,
people have been posting so much like promotional stuff. Like,
you know who is going to win out of this? I reckon is Fran Drescher, because I'd forgotten she even existed. Right?
Yeah,
she's the head of the.
She's the head of the Actors Guild. Screen Actors Guild, and she's the one who negotiated these deals. So she's the one who's been on the news. She's the one been given the interviews and stuff. I reckon she's going to get work out of this. Like, I assume she became an Actors Guild member because she wasn't on a show anymore and she needed a job. Yeah, but I reckon she's going to. Like, if I was her agent, I'd be like, "What do you want?"
See, the last I heard was there was still a bit of contention over the rights issue about them being able to be scanned and just be used for future, like after they've passed.
Yeah, they must have sorted that out.
Yeah,
because they were pissed
I don't know
about
what it is,
rightly so.
Yeah,
that stuff was intense.
Okay,
hopefully
so
they sorted all that out.
So in 2020, 5 we'll have some good stuff. 2024 is going to be a terrible year for television and movies.
Yes,
and no, unless there was a whole bunch of stuff 99% done that they can now just finish and release.
Well, here's some weird follow-up on that note, right? We talked about how Warner just threw Batgirl in the trash. They've now also apparently done the same thing with a couple other movies, including I saw some posts on Twitter about this from people who worked on this film. I didn't even know about it. There is a film called Coyote versus Acme, which was a mixed live-action cartoon, I guess Roger Rabbit style thing, where the Wile E. Coyote hires a lawyer to sue Acme for all the injuries he sustained over the years due to faulty goods chasing the Roadrunner.
I would watch that.
Right? Well, it's finished, right? Completely finished, ready to go. Test screenings, it was like rating like 9s and 10s. Warner threw it in the trash. They've like binned it. It's gone. It's a tax write-off now.
Yeah.
and can never be released as a result.
So how does this work? They just worked out they would make more money
as a tax write-off
using this as a deduction than as what they would earn back from it.
I guess
never
they haven't
understand
spent
this.
any money because we'd never heard of this, right? No one's heard of this, so there's been no promotional spend on it. So I guess they're saying, well, if we don't spend any money on promotion, maybe we come out ahead. That in that sense, like I really don't understand, and because people on Twitter, like I think I can't remember if it was a director or somebody who worked on this quite closely was saying, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Like we were getting really good test screenings, like. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So when Batgirl was scrapped, we thought to ourselves, this must be fucking garbage because the DC movies haven't been good to begin with, and if there's one that they feel they can't even release, like it must be awful. But maybe not. And I've read some again just people online who worked on it saying, nah, man, it was good and it was testing well, and they can't release it now. They because it had Keaton in it, right, as Batman.
Yes.
But then they changed his storyline of how he fits into the DCEU by reshooting bits of Flash that now negate things that he had done in the Batgirl movie.
Just go, it's not part of the thing, but here's a movie.
Just let's watch
you
the
could do
thing.
that, yeah.
This movie, this Wile E. Coyote one, starred Will Forte as the attorney that he hires and John Cena as the head of Acme.
Sure. John Cena.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah, John Cena.
Yeah.
I would have watched that.
John Cena?
Yeah, I'd watch it. Yeah.
It was fucking co-produced by James Gunn. Like,
you know what was a better movie
weird
than I really thought it was going to be was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yes.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's actually not that bad.
It's just like Dungeons and Dragons where I was like,
no,
absolutely not.
No. It's not
Have you
even
watched that yet,
remotely.
Luke?
No, I haven't. I do have it though.
Wait till you're not
gotta
sick
watch
anymore.
Dungeons
You'll
and Dragons.
appreciate it.
Oh, I've been
will
sick
love
all week, and so it's not been the time to watch something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
All right.
No. It's not that. But just one night, I was like doing the ironing or something, and I was like, "Fuck it, Sonic the Hedgehog," and I was like, pretty good. It was good to see.
There's two of them now.
Is there? Right.
Yeah, there's Sonic and Knuckles, I think, sequel.
Oh.
Still with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, well, it's good to see Jim Carrey, actually. Like, it's been a while since I've seen him on screen. He kind of semi-retired.
I don't know.
The last thing I really saw him in was Deadpool. Not Deadpool. What's that superhero movie?
You're thinking of Brad Pitt?
No.
What are you thinking
of?
Jesus, Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass 2 was the last thing I really remember seeing him in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kick-Asses were okay, but I liked the books better, and I just couldn't.
They did want to make it 3, but then they left too long and they got old.
They got old? Yeah.
I remember thinking the first one was a bit
Chloe
mean-spirited.
Moretz is always going to look young.
Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, in the book, he was a rapist. Like, he wasn't just he could do whatever he wanted, so he fucking did.
I think. Yeah,
that does make a good movie.
I remember at the time I thought it was going to be like fun, and then it wasn't, and then so I was kind of like, oh,
the movie or the comic?
The movie.
Yeah, but the comic.
I still haven't read the comic.
The comic's worth reading, and there's side characters that get whole stories that's very good. But there's one bit where he's like, last night I raped an A-list celebrity. I won't tell you her name, but you would know who she was.
She's Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
doing that. Yeah, that doesn't come out in the movie.
Very different. Yeah,
very,
very different.
They're doing more of a The Boys tone, I guess. Well, see, the Boys is lighthearted too. In a
The
way.
Boys is a funny.
I think that's
mix.
more what I was expecting. Like, yeah, The Boys is like.
Oh, you know the lead guy from The Boys, like the geeky guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's also in Scream, the last Scream that was just called Scream, right?
He was in something I watched the other day. Oh, he's in Oppenheimer. That's what it is.
Yes, he is in that. Do you know who he is? Yeah, I read this the other day. It blew my fucking mind. Now I'm going to Google this just to...
I feel like I am going to know, because I feel like, there is something to do with him.
Let me just check this because I didn't save this.
No, you know what? Fuck it.
No. Yeah, okay. I was
correct. Our normal.
He's Meg Ryan's son.
Oh, right.
Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid's son.
Remember when Meg Ryan used to work?
Right.
Remember, she was in fucking everything.
And then just disappeared.
She was a gem.
Mm.
Yeah, and then she...
There's a new Boys season coming out. And then there's also that...
I'm a whole season behind on Boys.
One. There's a Gen V? Like a...
the spin-off
show.
Which is like a high school ecology type thing, isn't it? Like the next generation, like they're learning.
There was a Penny Arcade comic about it called Chekhov's Dick, where it's like the VFX guys are talking and then they're like, yeah, I was worried when they asked us to CG animate a dick in the first episode that they might ask us to blow up the same dick a few episodes later. And the guy's like, yeah, I think you have to do that. It's called Chekhov's Dick. That's like a Chekhov's gun reference, if anyone doesn't know what the fuck that means. Anyway.
Speaking of... ooh, thank you. I've got some delivery. I'll just let Luke cough it out.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I thought I hit mute.
You didn't. Speaking of dicks that are doing things they're not meant to do, or not necessarily the dick.
Sure.
But we were talking before we started filming today about Fall of the House of Usher, right? I'm up to date. What a show. Great show. Great show.
Oh, you watched the whole thing?
Watch the whole thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I've got one criticism, but it's a spoiler.
It's not Midnight Mass.
I don't want to say. Yeah, it's not Midnight Mass. And it's actually, it's not haunting either. It's probably, but the worst, the third best out of somebody who's probably the best auteur in horror today is still pretty good, right?
How did he get... I mean, no offense to him. It's just that his early stuff, I would not have thought he was going to do this.
I guess he paid his dues. Like he did a lot. He's done a lot of stuff. I didn't even realize. I mean, I'd seen most of his stuff without realizing it was the same person. Even
same.
He did all of that to get to where he wanted to actually be.
When House on Haunted Hill came out, I was like, wait, that's that guy?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then since then he's just fucking nailing everything. So.
Yeah. And this is very good too. And I feel that, I mean, they really cram in the Edgar Allan Poe references, but it's not as on the nose as it could have been. Wednesday did the same because they go to Nevermore Academy and all of this stuff. It's actually more subtle than that, even though there's a character called Lenore and a raven that follows people around. And in the last episode, they all start quoting. But I won't say what my criticism is. I feel something about the reveal in the last episode was a bit flat. Which we can discuss off air or in the after party or something if you really want. But
it's been out. Do it. You know the rules.
All right, I'll do it quickly. Jump ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear. The two characters, twins, right?
Yes.
Meet a being, Mother Nature or Lady Luck, whoever she's meant to be, right? The devil, whoever it is.
Yeah.
And they make a deal that they will have a successful life, but their lineage will end with them, right? So any kids, grandkids, they'll all die on the same day that they do, right? Great.
Yep.
Love that premise. However, if that had happened when they were down on their luck, as they were for most of their lives, that would have made more sense than once they'd actually started to articulate a plan that was going very, very well, and then they'd, on the night they actually pulled the trigger on it, so to speak, then they make the deal. I was like, well, hold on.
Sure.
That whole thing should have been part of the deal. You can do this and get away with it.
Yeah. Like, if doing what they did that night had been part of the deal, it would make more sense in a way.
But they'd already done the hard yards. They'd already taken all the risks.
They'd done the bad thing already. Yeah.
Yeah. So that annoyed me a bit, but that was literally the only thing. Everything about it was excellent. Yeah. But it occurred to me after I'd finished watching it that we've discussed this at length, because this was the show Frank Langella got kicked off after having filmed 3/4 of it.
Yes. And I had forgotten about that until I literally saw, at first, you put in here The Fall of the House of Frank Langella, and I was like, what's that about? And then my brain went, he was supposed to be in that show, and you forgot.
This
and
is
I
the
was like,
one that
"Fuck."
he was
He got fired from.
because they
I completely forgot.
he got a warning. Like he sat him down and went, "You can't do this," and he went, "Sure," and then went back and did it.
And then I was like, "Who
Yeah.
was he supposed to play?" Right in the show, right? And then you informed me.
Yeah. The lead fucking character, Roderick
He was
Usher.
supposed to be. Yeah, like
Yeah.
and they'd shot most of it. That's
They
fucking
shot
wild.
almost all of it. Yeah.
Wow.
So like they recast Bruce Greenwood, who I mean he's in a few other things, including some of the like he was in is it Gerald's Game? That is also by
I think so.
Yeah.
It's also got what's her name in it?
Yeah.
The
lady.
To go back and you have to reshoot like the main character. That's insane. Like,
but
when
I
you
know
look out-
him from a show called Nowhere Man, which was on in the 90s, which was about a photojournalist that took a picture of, I think it was some American soldiers lynching a dude in Afghanistan or something, and they erase his existence and he's trying to get his identity back, and it was a great show back in the 90s. But I always see him as him. But he did such a great job of this that I can't even imagine Frank Langella playing the same role.
Yeah, it's odd. And then it's interesting to look back at now that we've seen the show at the things that he was accused of at the time with no context.
So
We were
let's
like,
go
what are they talking about?
through it. What
Let's go
was he
through all the things
specifically?
he did.
Yeah, what were the complaints?
So I think the main problematic thing that he did that got him fired, based on this article, right? Allegedly, he touched a female co-star during a sex scene in a way that had not been rehearsed or approved by the intimacy coordinator.
Yes,
That's the
and I
thing that
remember
got
when told not to, he said, "Don't tell me how to act."
Yes.
Acting is reacting in the moment, and if I want to put my hand up here, I can.
Yeah. So I don't really know.
And the producers went, "You
when that would've
can't," and you're fired.
been. Yes. I don't recall
Yes,
when
now,
that.
no,
would have even
and
been in the
I have a
movie, but in the show,
feeling that perhaps just to avoid any controversy whatsoever, they might have just written that scene out of the show completely. Either that,
there is a
or he
scene
was just fucking touching people.
There is a
Like-
scene where he and his wife begin to go, they're like,
Is
"Oh,
where the
let's go,"
daughter
but then it
walks
just
in
cuts
on him?
away.
It could be
It's
that.
a scene
Oh,
where the
maybe.
granddaughter walks into his office
Maybe.
and she's sitting on his lap.
Could be. Yeah, it could be.
Or could it be like they didn't want to put that actress through reenacting that
Could've
again?
Yeah,
Sure.
could have been.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then there are other things too where he told an off-color joke.
Yeah.
He called me baby or honey.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's
he'd give
not
me-
on. Stop calling.
He'd give me a
women
hug or
honey.
touch my shoulder. That's what he's saying. There are some. There was one here where he said, okay, he inquired about the body makeup applied to an actor who was playing a character who had been badly burnt.
No.
I've seen the show. Now we know what that's about. He
Mm.
asked the person whether the makeup extended to their genitalia and if the fire had burnt your dick. And that was found to be grossly inappropriate. Now,
Look,
I
I
think-
think it's not one individual. I think because from what I remember at the time, they spoke to him a few times. Like
he'd
you got to
been
stop
spoken
doing
to,
this,
and
stop
then he
doing
was
this,
still doing
and
this
he
shit.
just
Yeah.
kept
Yeah.
going on.
Well, I think it was like F. Murray Abraham, right? They're like, you need
Yes.
to. This is not the 70s, mate. You can't keep talking to people like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to you guys in a way that's very different to how I talk to people at work.
Yes. Like,
You know?
because I read that and I was like, if we were making a film and Luke showed up and then he was in burn makeup,
burn
I
makeup.
would definitely ask him, did they
If they
burn
put
your
the burn
dick off?
makeup on your dick.
and
Yeah.
I would show
Yeah,
you
I would
that they
definitely ask
had.
that.
Yeah. No, they
And
made
then-
it look like the dick's been
Yeah.
burnt completely off.
And then we would all be fired.
Yeah, that's right. No, but we wouldn't, because it's our movie that only us are in.
Oh, okay.
But if someone
Yeah.
was to go, "Hey, I'm here as well, and I don't appreciate that," that's when you
Yeah.
stop.
Yes,
going
no,
down
no.
that
To
path.
put it into context,
If I did
if you're on a
that, if I
Teams
made a
call
joke
on
like
Monday
that-
morning and a co-worker had a fucking burn, you'd be like, "Is your dick burn as well?"
Yeah. If I got a sense after working with people for a while that kind of humor was okay, I might throw out a few, test gags or whatever. But if I made a joke like that, once, and someone said that's grossly inappropriate,
you stop.
I wouldn't fucking do it again.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I had an incident at my work too.
In fact, I'd probably go home that night and be fucking mortified.
Yeah, that's right.
And like,
and you'd be like, I want to go and apologize to that woman, and then HR are like, no, that woman doesn't want you to apologize.
I can't, Dad.
Of course,
I can't talk to these people anymore. I have to resign. I can't talk to these people anymore.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
I told you, but I don't know if I've said it on air. But when I had an assistant, and the assistant called the head of marketing a cunt, and then have I told you this?
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, he didn't really. So it was after work at drinks, and she said, "What are you doing on the weekend?" He goes, "Well, working, because some cunt in marketing changed the strategy at the last minute." And she was like, "Did you just call me a cunt?" And he was like, "No, I didn't call you a cunt. I just implied you were a cunt." Anyway, so she rang the boss. Everyone was called back into the office.
But his after work drinks is still work. It's work.
Yeah, but his defense was, because usually it's just him and I who share an office space, right? We just back to back on one desk, right? Facing each other with computers in the middle, right? And I don't give a shit if he speaks like that, and I'm his direct contact. Him and I would just talk to each other the way we do, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, well, Dan allows me to speak like that." So
thanks.
So then I had to go in
about you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Dan thinks you're a cunt as well.
Yeah. Well, it's all
no, but then I had to go in and talk to the broadcast manager and everything. Going, Ben says you allow this kind of, and I'm like, look, I don't mind if he speaks like that to me. I assumed he understood that the line was at the door. That the women who are in the next room, you couldn't speak to like that. Just because I wasn't offended.
Yeah.
You got to know your audience.
But now, fucking stop it.
Yes. So anyway, now we know a little more context for what Frank Langella was up to, and I'm just frankly baffled that he was even in that role, to be honest. Now
I know.
I can't imagine it.
For starters, I would have thought he was slightly too old for it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But then I'm like, I guess I don't know how old Greenwood is. So.
There's one bit that I didn't understand, right? So Mary McDonnell, the president from Battlestar Galactica, right?
Yes.
Is in this
yes.
as the sister. Also, the half white, half Native American girl from Dances with Wolves, if you remember back that far. There's a scene, and I'm assuming it's meant to mean something because there's a close-up of it where she takes off her wig in the penultimate episode. And I didn't understand why, because as soon as she started unclipping it, and I'm like, oh, she's going to be bald underneath or have really short hair or something. And no, just slightly different hair. And I was like, oh, okay. Why make a big deal that she was taking off a wig then?
Yeah, it's just a hairpiece. Yeah.
Yeah. It went from a fringe cut to just a middle part. And I was like, that was...
Yeah, that's a good point. I do
you acted like that was meant to mean something, and I don't understand what it means.
Because she did it when she got to the house too. I remember.
Like a true self was going in, taking off a mask or something,
That's a good
which
point.
would have made sense if
sure.
she had different hair underneath. But
now
she didn't.
Watch it again.
I hope to watch it this week.
It's very good.
This week I couldn't watch anything. I did watch a couple of things.
Raoul in it.
I know
who you love, and he's funny again. He's funny again. If you did you watch Midnight Mass? He's not funny in that.
No,
he's funny in this. Oh, here's another thing I meant to bring up, Matt. The narrative bookend of this story is Roderick is talking to that attorney, right? The DA, whoever he is, about the case. So everything you see in a flashback is him telling him the story.
I saw the guy plays a young version of him. I stood a meter from him last weekend.
Oh, did you?
Rhode Island Comic Con.
He was good. He was very, very good. The young Roderick or the young DA?
Young DA.
Yeah, right.
The guy from iZombie.
Yeah. But we're meant to believe then that everything that we see in the flashbacks is the story he was telling him. So at one point, he said, So my son was getting sucked off by his Asian boyfriend, but he couldn't keep it hard because he couldn't keep his mind on it. Like, there's even a bit where he was like, how do you know the stuff that you weren't there for? He's like, they told me about it. But there's some stuff I'm like, well, they wouldn't have told you that.
Sure. Yeah. Who knows?
Anyway.
Who knows
Yeah.
ghosts do things?
Dad.
I did sit down and watch something this week. I watched it yesterday. I finally watched Ahsoka.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is that?
That's
Ahsoka Tano.
Yep.
Oh,
Star Wars.
Ahsoka. Right.
I didn't
Not the Ahsoka. It's about a guy who just wets people.
No. There's an old horror movie called The Soaker, isn't there? No, there's not. Google's telling me that there is not. There is somebody who's got an Instagram handle, The Soaker, but I'm almost.
Oh, don't click on it.
Gay cowboy.
Yeah,
It's a gay cowboy.
Look, I didn't actually Ahsoka, not the Soaker. I didn't actually mind it, but
You
you
didn't mind
do
being
have
soaked.
to. I do understand it's something that you need to have watched the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Not interested.
Because it did have that. But one of the things I get the feeling of with this and the Mandalorian, I think they're getting close to maybe getting rid of the sequels.
Really?
Sequels.
Yeah, like
As in
The Force
the Disney
Awakens,
ones.
Last Jedi, because
No, but they're bringing back. Well, they were bringing back
there's
Rey.
rumors that there's a new Rey movie, isn't there?
I know there is, but
Yeah.
if you look at all the stuff that's out, like Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, not Obi-Wan, but like Rogue One, Ahsoka, it's all about New Republic and all this stuff that's happening. It just really feels like,
There's no First Order.
yeah,
True.
like it really feels like it's a hard way to just really go from, we've got New Republic and then now we're in New Order, like 5 weeks later, like when there's building up the New Republic. I don't know, it's just a feeling. I think they could get away with it.
The funny thing is that, well, you mean they'll just ignore them?
Yeah,
Or
just
you
go,
think they'll
yeah, sorry, just these are not canon anymore. They've done that
Yeah.
before. These are no longer
definitely have,
canon.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, not with movies with the word episode in the title. but
they haven't done that
they still
before,
have.
but like they're bringing back Grand Admiral Thrawn and they're starting to try and tie in more with, bring more legends back.
It's not the Thrawn we know. The
It's
thing
not.
is, though...
And
Timothy
also the
Zahn's
guy
getting a
playing
kickback.
Yeah.
Thrawn he's not Thrawn.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen
No,
him,
no,
but
Yeah, I
he's
saw a
not.
photo. I saw a photo and I was like, that doesn't look like Thrawn.
No.
Yeah.
As a chiss,
I've got a picture of
should be,
Thrawn on my book over there.
Yes.
Oh, no. Is
Signed
that
by
a Timothy
Timothy
Zahn book? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny. So my daughter's obsessed with scissors at the moment. She just loves to cut things. And I have to really make it clear what she is and isn't allowed to cut. So she's got like coloring books. She loves to like cut out the characters in them and stuff, right? But I was reading outside the other day and I was reading a Timothy Zahn book that I bought secondhand, an old one. And she comes out and she's like, "Oh, can I see your book, Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had it." And she's like looking at it. She's like, "Oh, yeah," looking through it. She's like, "I'll get my scissors." And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
That would be scary.
The thing is, though, Disney, they made Andor, which is, to me, it's as good as Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the
Andor's
best
great.
of the best.
And again, with like Andor, it feels like it's not
yeah,
the sequels.
but Disney have come out and gone, "Well, I hope you liked it because you're not getting any more of that." And they're like, "Did you like Obi-Wan?" And we're like, "No." And they're like,
No.
"Well, get ready for heaps of stuff that's adjacent to that." Here's Hayden Christensen again. It's what you always wanted.
I've not seen Mandalorian season 3 or Ahsoka, and I've no interest in them. Like none. That's not
Same.
It's
I know.
not Star
It's
Wars for
disappointing,
me.
isn't it? Yeah, same. I started watching the first episode of Mandalorian season 3, and I was like, this isn't even what I liked about Mandalorian. You know?
Yes.
Which was a different.
So there's
I
now
thought he was going to climb.
video evidence of you abusing your dog.
I thought, for listeners, I chucked him
He's fine.
onto the bed, and I thought he was going to scramble up, but he didn't. He just went limp.
It just went limp, yeah.
No,
that's
I agree. It's
not the Star Wars. Like Andor is what I like about
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yeah. You know what I watched this week? I watched 3 different YouTube videos about people discussing which are the best formats to watch the original trilogy in. 3
Right.
about that. And then I rewatched the 2 episodes of Half in the Bag where they interview the guy from The People versus George Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll watch all of that. That's Star Wars to me. That's canon. Yeah. Fucking season 3 Mandalorian, Ahsoka, the Clone Wars, I couldn't care less about.
Ahsoka I'm interested in because it's got Ray Stevenson in it, and I loved him, and I will miss him.
Just watch Rome again.
Maybe I should just watch Rome. Yeah,
and that season of Dexter that he's in.
Look, the reason why I like it is it brought in things about the Night Sisters and all this stuff that I know about. That's sort of like
Night Sisters. That sounds good.
Yeah, like
here's the thing. It all sounds good. I watched this video that was like summing up like all the awesome plot lines out of the Clone Wars. Like, did you know that fucking Qui-Gon went and learned how to become a Force ghost? Like before him, no one knew how to do that and all this stuff. I'm like, that's fucking amazing. Like, but don't do it as a kids show.
The Clone Wars is actually really great, but we were just the wrong age. We were either too young or too old. We were like, you had to be.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's it's not even that it's great. It's that it's got good stuff in there, but it's just like buried under this other stuff that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That's my impression of it, anyway. Even when I've tried to watch, people go, "Oh, that is interesting. Let me watch it." Oh,
same.
Yeah, but it's
and you know who I really didn't. You know what character I really didn't like?
It is interesting.
Ahsoka Tano. Like,
right, sure.
Fucking sassy talking. Like, I was like, no, I can't do it.
Look. I didn't mind.
It's like Guinness.
No.
Oh, I just saw the black.
Oh, it did look like a Guinness.
That's fancy.
Dark all day.
All day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
like Company.com.
Is that where you do trivia?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you get free beer.
I got
that's not free,
cans,
is it?
So I love this. Probably was, yeah. This one is from last year, and I said they've just got the new batch for this year out, and I went up and I said, "Oh, thank God, I've only got 1 can of last year's left." And the guy goes, "How's that tasting?" And I said, "What?"
It's in a can. Surely it's still fine.
He goes, lager. I don't really. You're not really supposed to keep a lager for that long. And I was like, "Oh fuck, mate, don't look in my fridge."
Yeah,
I've got stuff from here from like 2 years ago.
Wow. No, I go through beers quicker than that. But then again, I don't get given a whole bunch of free stuff.
I'll come over soon and I'll drink all your lager.
We win them at trivia.
You
know
where else?
Trivia. We often win best team name. And you know, I'm not big knowing me or anything. We just have a good team for like picking good team
coming
names.
up with names. Yeah.
So, and the prize is beer. So,
I want to know what your team name was this week, but don't tell the freeloaders. Tell the people who pay for this show in the after party.
What's the after party?
Yeah, how did I get the after party?
How would I get it if I didn't know?
I just asked you for the RSS feed and you gave it to me, so I assume that's how everyone does it.
Email. No, go to patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm and sign up for $1 a month. You can join the club and you get some behind the scenes stuff. I've been trying to do that more frequently because we let that slide for a bit and I feel bad. So I'm trying to do that more frequently. $5 a month, you can get the show early. And then $10 a month, you get the after party every week. And an extra.
I'm just gonna say the unofficial reward is you get a hug from me.
Ugh.
But we can't say that on Patreon because it's
completely unofficial.
Yeah, unofficial.
Yeah, it's the Frank Langella clause.
Yes.
Yeah,
but only if you want
we're gonna keep talking for another.
And just like Frank
20
Langella,
minutes.
Luke doubles down on it.
That's right.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.